That is unreal.
Happy birthday again.
Thank you. We're going to Denny's.
No way. You said you're going to Denny's. I thought you were going to
Okay,
upgrade.
guys, we're gonna call a meeting. I'd like to call this meeting of the Sugarland 4B Corporation to order on October 20th, 2021 at 4 p.m. Got to change, yeah, oh, there we go. Citizens who desire to address the city council, board, and or commission with regard to matters on the agenda will be read or received at this time. Is there anyone?
No, ma'am.
Okay, we will close that item. All right. Minutes, consideration of an action on the minutes of September 15th, 2021, regular meeting, and the October 5th joint Sugarland Development Corporation, Sugarland 4B Corporation meeting. Any questions, comments?
Motion to approve.
Second.
Okay, motion to approve by Director McCutcheon and second by Director Watley. Director Saunders? Don't we have to
Oh,
approve?
aye.
Thank you.
Sorry.
Director Gasani?
Aye.
Atkinson?
Aye.
Watley? McCutcheon, aye. And I approve. The motion carries for both minutes unanimously. The next item is election of officers, consideration of an action on the election of president and vice president for terms ending September 30th, 2022. Elizabeth Huff.
All right, good afternoon. So this is pretty standard. We do this every year. We elect the president and vice president for a one-year term. This past year, we had Ms. Amy Soul serve as our president and Mr. Billy Atkinson serve as our vice president. So with that, I'll ask for any recommendations on who should serve for the next year.
I'll nominate Mr. Atkinson for president.
So
You want me to respond?
if you want to, you
I'll be
can
glad to
respond.
Respond to that. Thank you very much. And I would very much look forward to that. However, I have a suggestion that you might want to alter with your motion. And that is that Miss Amy Sewell serve as another year, even if it's in my place. And the reason is that we went through a very difficult pandemic. She got to preside over this group in a very difficult situation and manner. And I would like to see her serve a full year with all of us here working with her. And that's the primary reason I would like to do that. If you would be so kind, I would second that motion.
I agree to that motion.
Okay, so I don't know if I then motion by Director Saunders. I
agree
will.
with that or you
Yes,
disagree?
no, I'm okay with it. I'm okay with serving again.
I think Director Saunders made an amended,
Motion.
I made an amended motion.
Amended
to
motion.
Nominate you to
I would
continue.
second
for-
that
And he
amendment.
seconded, yeah.
Okay, and then we need a vice president.
And along that same line, that I would nominate Director Atkinson then to continue in his VP role in real life. And
I'll second it. Yeah, sorry. Yeah.
Everybody said.
Yeah.
All righty.
And do we need to vote?
Yes, we.
Okay, so we need to vote on both. Right? So,
I think we get one.
okay, one motion for,
We need to take separate, vote for separate, one
okay.
for president, one for vice president.
okay, so for president, do you vote to have me remain or Amy Sewell remain as president? Director McCutcheon,
yes,
Director Watley.
Aye.
Director
Aye.
Sanders.
Aye. Aye.
Okay, the motion carried. Now, voting for Director Atkinson as vice president, Director Saunders.
Aye.
Director Gasani. Director Watley, Director
Aye.
McCutcheon, and I approve. Both carry unanimously. Thank you. Okay, now we're moving to the next item. Orientation, review of and discussion on purpose, roles, responsibilities, and functions of the Sugarland 4B Corporation. John Soriano presenting.
Howdy all, welcome to your orientation for the SL4B for fiscal year 22. My name is John Soriano. I've been here for exactly a year now, and it's apparent to me that we're making some meaningful change here in the city. So thank you for your service on the SL4B board. With that, we'll get started with an overview of the SL4B. The role of the SL4B is to promote, assist, and enhance economic development activities and the quality of life opportunities within the city that promote economic development. This is accomplished in a variety of ways, including the primary industry recruitment program, business retention program, marketing, and joint CIP program. Thank you. The SL4B Corporation was created in 1995. The corporation has 7 members and all must be residents and can serve a maximum of 3 consecutive 2-year terms. The SL4B is often called the 4B Corporation and receives a 1/4 cent sales tax to fund the corporation and its projects. As of October 2020, the 4B Corporation has generated more than 118 million as of October 15th of this year. So doing really well there. The corporation is considered a nonprofit, but unlike most nonprofits, the SL4B has the power to expend tax proceeds from the 1/4 cent sales tax. Additionally, the board is required to comply with the Open Meetings and Open Records Acts. Now for the importance of economic development and the role of the SL4B. What is economic development? In the context of the city and the SL4B, we define economic development as the process of creating wealth through the mobilization of human, financial, capital, physical, and natural resources to generate marketable goods and services. Furthermore, the IEDC states that the role of an economic developer is to influence the process in such a way that the community benefits through expanding job opportunities and a growing tax base. So how does this work? It requires the infusion of new dollars into the local economy by primary employers. Primary employers is a company whose products or services are ultimately used in a statewide, national, or international market. In essence, these employers bring new dollars into the community. But most importantly, primary employers bring primary jobs. Primary jobs are created by manufacturing, professional services, distribution/warehouse, service industry, you name it. They produce and sell services on a regional, state, national, or international basis. Here we have a great visual of the process discussed on the previous slide. It starts with primary employers and destination venues, which then create the demand for housing, which then creates property tax and develops a market for the creation of retail, which generates sales tax. This then funnels into the development of quality life amenities and the investment of public services. So how does the SL4B factor into all of this? The SL4B is authorized to fund projects that create or retain primary jobs. This can include land, buildings, equipment, facilities, targeted infrastructure, or improvements. Excuse me, eligible projects. In addition to creating primary jobs, the code also requires the projects be related to specific types, which include manufacturing facilities, R&D facilities, distribution centers, and corporate headquarters, amongst others. Other authorized categories with that, there's a few of these allowable expenditures that are not required to create or retain primary jobs. These include job training classes, certain limited infrastructure improvements, career centers outside of the taxing jurisdiction of a junior college, and the development of some commuter rail and airport facilities or port-related facilities. Unlike the 4A corporation, the statute allows the 4B to use expenditures for quality of life improvements and other improvements that include professional amateur sports and athletic facilities, entertainment, tourist and convention facilities, public parks, affordable housing, water supply facilities, and water conservation programs. The corporation may also use sales tax proceeds to issue bonds for these projects. And finally, the corporation is allowed to expend funds on promotional materials and activities, although there is a 10% annual limitation. Let's talk about some examples of SL4B projects. First, we got Sugarland Town Square. It's a mixed-use development here in the heart of Sugarland, Texas. Sugarland 4B has issued debt on the creation of a conference center and 400 garage spaces for parking. Sugarland Town Square has completed a 1.5 million plaza revitalization in fiscal year 19. And the SL4B agreed to provide 750,000 in support of this project in fiscal year 20. And as you may have heard, Lionstone Investments, the owner of Sugarland Town Square, and Reeves, their partner, have plans to reinvest in Town Square. Staff is working closely with them, and we will continue to update the board on this project's progress. Let's talk about Constellation Field. It's a minor league baseball stadium that opened in 2012. The project was a partnership between the city, the SL4B, the land developer, and the Sugarland Skeeters. The agreement included 22 acres that were donated by the developer for the stadium and parking. The city contributed $7 million to advance infrastructure. The city also constructed 36 million facility using SL4B funding. The team provided $6 million in a capital contribution and leased the facility for 25 years. And this year, the city entered into a new partnership with the Houston Astros, making the Sugarland Skeeters their AAA affiliate. As part of the partnership, the Astros agreed to lease the stadium for a new 25-year term. The SL4B also supported $10 million in additional player and fan experience improvements. First Colony Mall is a unique project in which we were able to use SL4B funds for necessary infrastructure improvements to enhance the lifestyle center. We got public art. In 2016, City Council approved the public art plan. The SL4B has supported many of these public art installations, including those at Brazos River Park, the regional airport, here in Sugarland, Settlers Way, and traffic box wraps, and even more. The Joint CIP program is a large program and allows community-based organizations to participate in joint capital improvement projects. The program allows for, or the program follows the SL4B funding requirements to consider eligible projects. The SL4B will fund no more than 50% of the project, up to a maximum of $75K. The projects in the past have included improvements to esplanades, landscaping, community lighting, HOA fence and wall improvements, dog parks, playground and athletic equipment, and monument signage. We'll be restarting the program soon, utilizing the applications we received in fiscal year 20, which were substantial due to our significant marketing efforts. We will not have a new application process for fiscal year 21. Oh, or we will. Oh, is that old? I'm sorry. Excuse me. So, excuse me there. Let's move on to marketing. As mentioned earlier, the one purpose of SL4B is to support the marketing program. The Office of Economic Development has adopted a multi-tiered strategic marketing program. The overall goal of this program is to position Sugarland as a strategic location for business, investment, and being an economic powerhouse. This plan includes the activation of our new website, utilizing the results of the Ernst & Young study to further define our target audiences, and partnering with DCI to develop a three-pronged approach to guide our marketing efforts. Let's talk the budget for SL4B. The board oversees funding for projects identified as necessary to accomplish the goals of the economic development plan in accordance with the direction of City Council. As such, the board is required to follow all state laws governing the allowable uses of these funds. Accordingly, an annual budget is prepared, it is reviewed with the board prior to being acted upon by both the board and City Council. As for the SL4B bylaws and annual calendar, the board here is subject to the rules of a quorum, open meetings, and conflicts of interest. The deputy city manager serves as the general manager of the corporation. There are also requirements for funding resolutions. For procedural requirements for the board, you're subject to procedural requirements, including posting public notice of proposed projects at least 60 days before approval, holding a public hearing before a project or on a project before expenditures, approving the funding resolution, authorizing expenditures, and City Council approval for all 4B expenditures. With that, here's the meeting calendar and some important noteworthy months. The board typically meets on 4 p.m. on the third Wednesday of every month. And with that, that concludes my presentation. Does anyone have any questions? If No, that'll be it. Thank you.
All right,
Thank
thank you, John.
Good job.
So now we move on to item 7, public hearing. Let's see, it's here. Receive and hear all persons desiring to be heard on Sugarland 4B Corporation Resolution number 2021-10-12, a resolution of the Board of Directors of the Sugarland 4B Corporation approving a request by the City of Sugarland for landscape replacement and enhancement projects along US Highway 59, I-69, US Highway 90A, State Highway 6, Eldridge Road, and other major corridors in the City of Sugarland. Eric Oscarson presenting.
Good afternoon. Thank you for having me today. So annually, we have a budget of $200,000 that's allocated by City Council during the budgeting process for landscape replacement on major roadways and any type of enhancement projects along those roadways. Every year, we bring forward a finding and funding resolution that needs to be adopted by SL4B so we can utilize those funds. So we tend to use the money on 59, Highway 6, and other major corridors. We started last year or 3 years ago a multi-year project to reconstruct planting beds and putting in resilient plant materials along our different corridors. That's the intent of this program moving forward. It also includes doing improvements to those corridors if it means replacing plants or if it means putting in landscape bed edging, replacing mulch with hardscape, well, not hardscape, with bull rock instead of normal mulch, and those different types of projects. So in the last 3 years, we completed the rehabilitation of US 90A. That was using the funds from SL4B. We did that from all the way from State Highway 6 to 59. And we completed the design of a green ribbon project for Eldridge Road. So in the previous years, we came forward with this project. This was for 90A. We replaced this at the corner of State Highway 6 and 90A. As you can see, it's new plant material. It's concrete edging to help delineate where the turf is from the planting beds with some bull rock in areas that for aesthetic appearance. This is another view coming off of State Highway 6 and 90A. Again, same kind of design. And in some areas where it's harder for us to do maintenance, where we had regular concrete, it was plain concrete, we put in brick pavers and did different enhancements. Moving forward for FY22, we have 2 major projects that we're proposing. One is additional work as part of the US 59 Green Ribbon Project, and also improvements to the Brazos River turnaround on the south side of the river. So the first one project is estimated between $60,000 and $70,000. We have been working with TxDOT to move forward a Green Ribbon Project. Green Ribbon Project is a project that is completely funded by TxDOT. TxDOT and the city have been working together to design and redesign the landscaping along 59, all the way from US 98 down to 99. As part of that project, we designed it, and the design process took about a year. Of course, we completed that design process and submitted everything to TxDOT just prior to our February freeze. So our plans were submitted. We didn't have the ability to change them at that time. And so what happened is we identified a significant amount of plants that perished during that event that weren't included in replacement. We've also had some trees that have been hit by cars and different things like that have occurred. And so what we want to do is we want to replace those. So when we do the work, we're going to do it all in one shot. So we have a nice complete corridor. We've already talked with the contractor that has won the TxDOT bid, and we have talked with our purchasing department, and we can simply create a contract underneath the TxDOT contract because they've already done the low bidding for us, and we'll be using that contractor. So as they do the work for TxDOT, they'll be able to update it and do the work for us. So it's one big project. So things we're going to be doing, just some pictures of trees that have damaged or been died. To the right, you'll see we've had significant amount of plant loss due to the freeze, and this project will help take care of that. And also underneath some of our crepe myrtles and our bald cypress, we tend to not plant any plant material because it dies, because it's shaded. In the past, we've used mulch, which we have to replace on a regular basis. We'll actually be going back with bull rock because it's sustainable, and we won't have to go back and do replacement of that mulch year after year. So it's a sound investment and aesthetically pleasing as well. The second project is estimated to be between $100,000 and $120,000. This is underneath the turnaround on the south side of the Brazos River. This is an area where we have continued issues. As you can see, in areas we have grass growing, but directly underneath the main parts of the bridge, it's all mud. Nothing grows there. And we have significant issues with erosion. So we have stormwater management concerns. As water goes through those bridges, we actually have washout and completely washes out. And we end up having to actually work with TxDOT to clean the mud off the roadway. So we have a plan to put in some decorative pavement and some decorative stone to eliminate that. We are keeping everything in the grass area. This is just a crude drawing, so bear with me. On the areas on the sides where we have grass, that grass is going to stay. We're going to replant the grass. We're actually going to be putting in some zoysia grass, which handles really well in shaded areas. And then from there, we're going to be putting some concrete bordered in, some stamped concrete, and then some bull rock, and that'll help eliminate the stormwater concerns. And those are the two projects we have that we're going to be using the money on this year. And with that, I will take.
Okay, I
Open
would
the hearing
like
and ask
to,
questions.
open the public hearing at 4:20 PM. Is there anyone here to speak?
Doesn't look like no one's here to speak. We're all staff and there's no one signed up online.
Okay, then I will close the public hearing at 4:20. Now, consideration of an action on the City of Sugar Land 4B Corporation Resolution 2021-10-12. Resolution of the Board of Directors of the Sugar Land 4B Corporation approving a request by the City of Sugar Land for landscape replacement and enhancement projects along US Highway 59, I-69, 90A, State Highway 6, Eldridge Road, and other major corridors in the City of Sugar Land. Open now for questions. Director McCutcheon.
So Eric, on the landscape replacement, are you going back with the same kind of landscaping or are you going back with different plant materials?
So the landscaping will fit in with the new green ribbon project. So in certain areas, we have made changes within the green ribbon project. So areas that we've had, like Society Garlic is not going back as Society Garlic. Some of those areas were included in the 59 project and some areas weren't. So we're gonna, whatever the plan was for the green ribbon project, we'll be replacing in-kind plant material. So what we don't want is corridors to have Society Garlic when we put Society Garlic back. So those corridors now have flax lily, abelia, and those types of things. So it's going to be matching that new plant palette. That's the same plant palette we provided to City Council, and I'll be happy to provide it back through Cindy of what that green ribbon plant palette looks like. So we'll be matching the plant palette for the 59 green ribbon project. I'll be working with Brian, and we're putting together an FYI. We're going to be doing a pre-construction meeting here shortly with the contractor. So we're getting council and everybody up to speed on what the timing of that project is over the next year. Because the next year, 59 is going to be under a lot of construction and landscaping and things like that.
And who's the contractor?
So Wild Magnolia Landscaping, I believe, was the low bidder of it. They're based out of Crosby. And so we'll be working with them to create another contract to do the same amount of work. We're able to use the unit prices that TxDOT received from them. And so it works out really well timing wise, so that we can get those all replaced at the same time.
Thank you.
What did you expect with timing again?
For this project will be finished during this fiscal year. So
During this year?
yeah, so the landscaping all along 59 is part of the TxDOT project. It's a green ribbon project. We have a pre-construction meeting in 2 weeks. We'll meet with the contractor. They'll do a kickoff, and then the estimated time frame is about 180 to 210 days to redo all the landscaping, and that'll include everything from 90A and the triangle at 90A and 90 all the way down to 99.
So that's commensurate with the green ribbon project.
Yep, yeah, so they'll be doing the green ribbon project and our work at the same time. And so we know we'll be working with them to get exact unit prices for everything, so we'll know exactly what we're paying for and what TxDOT's paying for.
Okay, well, I think what I heard from you is that in the green ribbon project, there's not radical changes, but just complementary changes.
Correct.
Okay.
Director Watley.
Thank you. So the landscaping you're putting in, I'm assuming is going to be, it's going to stay, but we'll still have a place to add in some color for annuals, is that correct?
We do not do annuals. So the city's streetscape policy, which council approved last night, does not call for annual replacement. So we do, all the plants we put in are perennial plants. So we do not switch out for annual colors. The HOAs tend to do annual work. The city does not. It's not part of the policy.
Okay, so I'm confused. We had this green ribbon project and then there's these other things. Why aren't they part of the green ribbon project to just resubmit and put it under TxDOT?
So through the TxDOT process, we have one time to submit, right? We created a budget. We did one submittal. That was submitted and then the freeze hit.
Right.
So we can't go back and change it. There's no change orders to go up with TxDOT.
Okay.
TxDOT will change order down. TxDOT will not change order up. So
Okay,
any additional work we need to do has to be on the city.
okay,
We could wait, it would take us about 5 years to get through to be able to submit it again through TxDOT for
Really?
that. Yeah. So that's why we're working currently on a project for Eldridge and State Highway 6 as a green ribbon project. We started that 4 years ago and we're working through with hopefully getting the design done now and getting it on let for next year. But it's a long process. And so
Okay.
it's easier for us to take the funding we have available. A lot of the work we're doing, the bull rock that we're adding underneath, instead of putting in hard and like mulch,
Mhm.
they won't even allow us to do that. That's not in their green ribbon. Green ribbon has to be greenery, it has to be plants, it has to be trees. So anything like that above and beyond is on the city to do.
okay, thank you.
I said a follow-up. So on the Green Ribbon project, is it once the city has made an application, they can't make an additional application for another 5 years? Or is the Green Ribbon project open to all cities at one particular year, and then 5 years later it's open to everybody again? How exactly? does
No,
that
it's a
work?
continuous open. It's a
Okay.
continuously open. It's when you bring forward an idea and you bring it to TxDOT, the process to get it from, we have an idea to closure is about 5 years.
Jeez.
No, so we started bringing forward the project, said this is what we want to do. And by the time you bring it forward, the time it takes to actually bring a project forward. So we brought forward Eldridge and 6 3 years ago. We are now trying to get it let next year. So that's the time frame that they're on to be able to, when you come up with a new project, it takes about 4 to 5 years to get it built. And so when we submit, we have to submit a budget, which we did 2 years ago for this project. We had to submit plans and we designed it in-house with staff. And then all that has to be set in stone and you can't move on it. And then we submitted it and then the freeze happened and now we're stuck.
Okay.
So
Knowing
it's just a
that-
long process.
Right, knowing that the process is this long, is there anything that you're thinking about now that you want to file a new Green Ribbon project for, that to get approval for, to do like 4 years from now? Or
So
something?
we'll be
What else is
looking-
on your radar?
So 98 was just completed by SL4B. State Highway 6 and Eldridge is already on there. This is 59. So those are the 4 major corridors that we maintain that are state highways that qualify for this program. So what we'll do is, now that 98 is complete, in about 5 years, we'll talk, are we 5 years away from redoing 98 again? So we're always thinking 4 or 5 years in advance of when can we do the next project. Green ribbon projects are only good for state highways. We don't maintain 99, right? So 99, we just mow, there's no additional landscaping along 99. We just do mowing through there with the HOAs. So the 4 roads that we maintain, we have either redone or are going to be redoing this year and next year. And so we'll have to be looking at the next, 4 or 5 years out, we'll start this conversation over again.
So Eric, you mentioned this project will be done this year.
Mhm.
So if we get hit by another freeze, is this going to survive? Or is this a good time to plant?
Bull rock won't die.
So the bull rock won't die. No, so the early, prior to early spring is our best time to plant, either in the fall or in the early spring.
Right.
Now, anything we plant now can easily survive. We have plenty of stuff that we planted along 90A and Stadium Drive and other places within the city that survived the freeze just fine. We had some plants that didn't survive. And so we have some we have back and forth. I'd rather plant now than in the middle of summer. That's the worst,
right.
you know what I mean?
Right.
So this project's going to kick off now with the Green Ribbon project. They're not going to get to planting. They're going to be doing demo work for the first 3 months before they even get to planting, which will be early spring, which will be a perfect time to start putting things in the ground.
So if I'm driving along 59, the Green Ribbon Project will be planning, rehabbing the live plants. And the stuff that we're paying for is the bull rock, concrete, other items that complement the existence of the live plants. We're not planting trees.
No, we are.
We are
We are.
replacing the
We
dead,
are.
we're replacing
We
the
are.
dead ones.
We are. So there was,
We are planting materials in addition to the Green Ribbon.
yeah, so like these trees that were damaged, this dead tree here and these plants here, were not included in the Green Ribbon Project because they were alive and thriving
Okay.
prior to February.
Okay.
And they have died since. So instead of leaving them, we want to grab it now while we have the time, right? We have a contractor in there. We're already going to be disrupting traffic. We're already going to be working in there. Let's get all this done. So when that contractor walks away from 59, we have a complete project and we don't have to worry about going back.
When the contractor walks away and is done, if a tree dies, will we have the responsibility?
So we have, so
Replace it.
we have 1-year warranty on all plants if they plant it.
But I mean, generally, it's ours after they
Yeah.
finish. Okay.
Yeah,
Last
we'll
one.
replant it. We have funding in our operational budget to replace.
Last question, Bull Rock, how is it working? Have you found any disadvantages to it? I mean,
Our biggest disadvantage is that we have to pick litter out of it. A little bit more than we would with mulch. It'll flow through the mulch, it tends to get caught in there. But overall, we go through and we kill the weeds just like we would in normal mulch.
but it seems to be the best.
Oh, yeah.
answer.
Oh, 100%, 100%. And again, we don't have to go back year after year. Every year we put down mulch. We don't go back to these places and put down mulch every year. It's there until as long as we want it there.
Thank you.
Director.
Follow up, do you have edging between the turf and the bull rock, or does it just stay there by itself?
No, it'll be just like this. There'll be concrete edging.
It'll be a concrete edge, you know.
Concrete edging. So all the beds, everything's gonna be similar. It creates, instead of putting steel edging, which tends to pop up and move, this allows us to create a solid edge for the staff to mow against. It delineates it. We tend to not get weeds blowing over from one side to the other. And it's a nice clean look.
So you won't mow any bull rock into the traffic?
No, we're not mowing that bull rock. No, not mowing any bull rock. Not mowing any bull rock. I don't know if that would actually fly through the mower. I think it would damage the mower more than spit it up.
Any other questions? Do I have a motion?
Motion to approve.
Second.
Motion approved by Director Watley, second by Director Atkinson. Voting Director McCutcheon.
Aye.
Director Saunders.
Aye.
Director Gasson.
Aye.
Director Atkinson.
Bye.
Director Watley.
Aye.
And I approve, unanimously approve.
Thank you very much.
Thank
Thank you, Eric.
Good
Appreciate it.
presentation.
Thank you.
The next item is the Director's Report. Elizabeth presenting.
All right, good afternoon. So few quick updates for you. Our page search, which is a digital marketing tactic designed to make a website more discoverable, is nearly doubling the industry benchmark click-through rates for search ads, which is really exciting and great news for us. This shows that we've successfully identified our key target audiences and are driving them to the appropriate web pages. The Expand Your Business page on our website has seen a 50% uptick last month in visitation, which is most likely due to the prioritization of the business attraction campaign and Sweet Cash coming to an end. DCI has successfully distributed our first site consultant e-newsletter to roughly 400 consultants and brokers that are showcasing both Accredo and Bluebonnet's business expansions. Lastly, I don't know if you've heard in the news, but our local firm, Heavy Construction System Specialists, or HCSS, was acquired by Thoma Bravo, which is a venture capital firm. It's really exciting news. It's that first big buyout. If anything for us, nothing changes. They're still going to be Sugarland business, but it will allow them to have additional capital so they can continue to grow. So they received a tax abatement last year on their third building and have continued to grow. And so this is really, really great news and exciting news for us. And then we'll be kicking off some travel hopefully in November and December on our business recruitment efforts if things don't get canceled. So that's all I've got. Happy Wednesday.
All right. Do I have a motion to adjourn?
Thank you.
Motion to adjourn.
Motion to adjourn. The meeting is adjourned, 4:34.
Great,
I know, it's my job and all this stuff.
great job. Thank you.
Since we got up early, we just got my the chamber thing.
And the Astros are winning.
It starts at 5. We get there early.
Landscaping, right?
Oh, This is the chamber.
Fascinating.
It doesn't start until 5.